Get ready for a no BS approach to health and fitness. This is NBS Fitness Radio.
All right, welcome back to NBS Fitness Radio. I'm here with Chuck Carmen, and Chuck just hit his 1,000th checked-in session at NBS Fitness. And so that's a huge milestone. So we want to celebrate that, but also kind of talk to Chuck and see what his journey's been like and maybe gain some insights into what's helped him be able to get to this point. So welcome to the podcast, Chuck.
How are you doing?
First, kind of just give me your fitness story. Like what was your youth look? What did your youth look like with regards to exercise and fitness? And when did you kind of first get into training?
Well, growing up, I didn't do anything. I didn't play sports. I smoked Marlboros and drank beer and just nothing.
Yeah.
But then when I started working where I work now, I unloaded shingles by hand. So I got in pretty good shape when I was doing that.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I moved into the office, and by like 2014, I weighed like 270 some odd pounds.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. How much were you when you were loading shingles?
Probably about like I am now, 185, 190.
Okay. So you put up 90 pounds on.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And in 2014, Lisa started a boot camp at another CrossFit gym.
Oh.
And I ended up going with her, and that's where I started. I learned nutrition, which I learned nutrition over there, how to lose weight, not for performance, which I learned better nutrition from doing nutrition with Angie.
What? Had you never done any exercise before that?
Well, just like, PE class in junior high and high school, but
you would have been your 30s or 40s by this point, right?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't do after high school, and I was in Boy Scouts when I was a kid. I did a lot of backpacking too when I was younger.
Yeah.
But no, nothing until I was like 44 when I first seriously decided to try to do something about it.
What sparked you to go and do that? Was Lisa like pushing you? Did you have a desire? Like what kind of triggered that?
She wasn't necessarily pushing me, but I went to one of her things there, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to do it too.
Yeah.
And of course, I couldn't walk down to the mailbox without getting out of breath. I knew I had to do something.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what.
What did it feel like, or like what was the change in how you felt going from like 185 up to 270?
I felt like I was 44 or, in my early 40s, and I felt like I was already old.
Yeah.
I had already given up. My mindset was that I'd already given up. I said, I guess this is what it's like when you get old.
Yeah. So what, like when you think back, what was like that first workout like?
Oh, it sucked bad.
Yeah. In what ways?
Just, I couldn't breathe and just felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah.
Breathe.
In that moment where you're like, screw this, I don't want to come back? Or
I had a lot of moments like that where I was like, screw this, but I don't know why. I can't explain what drove me to keep going, because I did want to quit.
Yeah. So you kept going. You eventually lost a pretty significant amount of weight. You went from 270 down to what?
Well, I hang now about from 185 to 190.
Okay. What did it feel like? Well, how long did that take? How long did it take you to go from like 270 down to where you are today?
Probably year and a half.
Okay.
A year, little over a year.
What were you doing?
Just CrossFit, and I was doing the nutrition program there at that gym also.
Okay.
Which was pretty lean. I didn't eat a lot.
Yeah, just low calories.
Low calories. Yeah.
So you went from not training at all. How many days a week were you training?
5.
Okay. So you went from not training at all, training every single day. And then what was like the biggest shift in your diet? What was your diet like when you were 270?
I drank a whole lot of beer.
Okay.
Of course, you drink beer and then you eat like an asshole.
Yeah.
And just eat everything. Just
Yeah.
just regular garbage. Just chips, and I never ate a lot of sweets, but just regular garbage and
Processed food and
processed food. Yeah, garbage. And I drank a lot of beer.
yeah. And then what kind of shifted? What did you eliminate? What did you add in?
I eliminated. I added in specific protein and carbs, and I quit. Basically, I quit drinking for years altogether.
Was that hard?
It was, but once I was determined to do it, it wasn't. I mean, I still eat like that today.
Yeah.
I drink a couple of beers. It's on Saturday, and that's the only day I'll drink a couple of beers.
Yeah. Were you gaining an like an understanding of nutrition? Was that part of it, like understanding what protein was and what carbs were? Yeah.
I gained an understanding of how to eat for sure.
How did you manage like the cravings? I imagine there was, moments where you're like, screw this, I want to go back to eating some chips and drinking beer. Like, how did you manage that?
I just did it. I don't know. Once I started getting results, it's once you start getting results, I guess I got addicted to the results.
Yeah. Start getting some momentum. You're like, oh, I like this.
Right. Exactly.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's kind of talk about your journey at NBS. You guys came over to NBS and started training here. Mm-hmm. And what are some of kind of the moments that stick out in your mind across your journey here at NBS?
Probably the biggest moments that stick out in my mind is that when I walked in the door there, I thought I know how to do everything. And I learned that I didn't know how to do anything right.
As far as like technique goes, or
yeah, technique and form, deadlifting, Olympic lifts, pull-ups, toes to bar, everything.
Gotcha.
You've been so much further there than where I was.
You've been exposed to it, but maybe not like the higher level understanding of it.
Exactly. Yes.
Very cool. And what's been kind of some of the changes that you've had working with Angie on nutrition? It sounds like you kind of set like a baseline there, and then you kind of like furthered it with nutrition with Angie. So what's that been like?
It basically, I wasn't eating enough.
Yeah.
To put on muscle mass, and she basically kicked up what I'm eating by what I was eating by double.
And you've been able to stay the same weight?
Yeah.
How about that? That's pretty cool. That probably feels a lot better.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I've got more energy than I did.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that's going to help with performance as well. You're fueling that performance. Yeah. You're coming in with more energy. You can output more, recover better, all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
What's been your experience with the level method?
I like it.
What do you like about it most?
Just that you've got your levels and you work out at where you're at. Yeah. It's the coolest thing.
Do you remember what was your first level? Do you remember what your first color was?
I think it was blue.
Okay. And where are you overall now?
Purple.
Nice. Okay.
It's because of the double unders. I need to do like a whole bunch of double unders. And that's the only thing holding me back.
Okay. So you're maybe brown on most stuff and then purple on the double unders?
Brown and black on everything except for the double unders.
Gotcha. Okay. But we just need to get you to do a couple skill sessions and get you some.
It ain't for lack of trying.
All right. Maybe you didn't jump rope enough as a child.
I never jumped rope as a child.
yeah, you needed a different PE class. Um, what's been some of the outside of like maybe some of the performance stuff? Like, what are some of the kind of key memories? Like, what I'd like to hear from you is what has kept you going. So many people start their journey and fall off, but like you've been able to get to 1,000 sessions, you've been able to lose 90 pounds and keep it off. You've been able to make all this progress. You've been so consistent. What are some of that?
It's definitely the community, the people. I work out at 5 a.m. and I've got to be there,
Yeah,
and the coaches too. Like whatever coach it is that day, I'm like, I can't miss his day.
yeah. What would you say to someone who's like, I just can't get up that early? Because that's obviously a common struggle. I just can't get up that early.
That's a weak ass excuse because there's that's why I started going at 5 a.m. There's not an excuse that you can't get there at 5 a.m. In the afternoon. You can come up with all kinds of excuses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that you don't have any appointments at 5 a.m.
Right.
Just requires you waking up. Um, you've hit several kind of PRs going from like that blue overall level going through,
For sure.
purple and brown. So what are some of the like moments that stick out in your head of like some of those PR moments?
Well, just recently when we leveled up on deadlift, I have been at like 395 on deadlift for years and years, and I deadlifted 425.
Nice. What do you think you were like at a bit of a mental block with putting 4 plates on?
I think so.
Yeah. What helped you get over that?
I'm not because I deadlifted with Barry and Andy and Daniel that morning, and when you deadlift with the big guys, the weight goes up pretty fast.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we're putting 4 plates on. Like, all right, I guess I'll try this.
Yes, I'll do it.
That's awesome. Okay. Heck yeah. 425. And Chuck, how old are you?
54.
You're 54.
Mm-hmm.
You hit a 425 deadlift, which is over a double. It's like 2.1. It was over a double body weight deadlift.
Right.
What do you think? You think your 25-year-old self would think you'd be deadlifting double body weight at 55?
No,
Why?
I don't know because I just never thought about deadlifting anything at all.
Yeah. What I find is that if you're just not around a lot of fit people, your perception of what is fit is totally off.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I believe that too.
And what you said earlier about like, oh, this is just what 40 is like. So many people believe that
Yeah.
that's true. And so that kind of becomes a justification of why I can't do it. I was in a meeting the other day and I said, hey, I was like given some metrics of what fitness looks like. And I said like a 7-minute mile would be considered fit. And they were like, that's moving pretty fast. I was like, it's not really like a sub 5 minute.
It's getting it. Yeah.
It's a fast mile at the highest levels.
Right.
I was like, so, a 7-minute mile is not walking a mile, but it's not what would be considered a fast mile by people who run.
Yeah.
I said it's kind of like one of those kind of mid-level miles that is 100% achievable by anyone, but it would just require you to work at it. Like you could run a 7-minute mile at 40, 50, 60, whatever.
If you just train for it, that's right.
If you prepared for it. So I was trying to kind of get across that like the standard's the standard. I know it seems like it's maybe high, but that's just because like our perception of what's possible is so low. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I think that's a good testament. It's like you didn't even start working out till you're in your mid 40s.
Right.
And in 10 years, which is not, let's assume you're going to work out for the rest of your life. 10
That's
years over 10 years over 80, 90 years is not that long.
Right.
But in 10 years of working out at 55 years old, you hit a double body weight deadlift. And that should show people like, hey, what's totally possible.
Also, the other thing I'm really proud of is I got bar muscle ups.
Yeah. So explain to people who don't know what a muscle up is.
You hang from the bar and you end up on top of the bar
Yeah, you go start from below the bar, get on top of
and
the bar.
go on top of the bar. Yeah,
Gymnastics movement, and you get on top of the bar.
exactly.
Let me ask you this: why did you want to do a muscle up?
Just because I couldn't do it.
And why is doing a muscle? Why would you want to do a muscle up?
I don't know, because it's cool. It's badass.
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah,
Well, and the reason I asked that is because I was coaching a class and talking about muscle ups, and someone's like, David, well, why do I even want to do a muscle up? And so I wanted to hear it from someone who hit their first muscle up at 55. Again, I think there's a lot of times people go like, well, you gotta be like 20 to be able to do that. No, I did my first one at 55.
that's one of my favorite things about working out and doing what I do is I'm 55. If I can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, you're 55, but you're in better shape than 90% of 20-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah, the reason I would say you would want to do a muscle up is because it's just another level of like functionality and ability and fitness. So it like going to use like a financial terms, like why would I want to have $10 million? Or like, why would I need to have $10 million? You don't need it, but like having that allows you to do a lot of more stuff.
Right.
Like you don't need to be able to do a muscle up, but like the ability to do a muscle up sure does open up the possibility for doing a lot more cool stuff in life,
Exactly.
From a confidence perspective. So you think, so many people think like, oh, once I hit 60, I'm gonna retire, and then it's downhill from there. Versus you're like, I'm doing muscle ups at 55. Like,
I'm not retiring. Yeah.
I'm ready to go kick ass.
I don't know. That's the cool thing about what we do is you're never topped out.
Right.
There's always that one more thing that you need to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably not going to hit red 5 on every level. There's always something at least not in a short period of time.
Right.
How did it feel hitting that muscle up?
It was awesome. I may or may not have hollered foul language through the whole gym when I got up there.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that moment that you did it, how much of that was you had just at that one moment finally built the physical capacity to do it versus you had the physical capacity, but you just need to learn the technique and then also the just mental kind of like a belief that you could do it. So like there's a couple things you have to unlock: the total physical capacity, the technique. Yeah, I got to apply the physical capacity in the right way. But then also there's the aspect of the self-belief that I can do this. How did those line up for you when you did your muscle?
I definitely already had the physical capacity. It was learning the skill was probably the biggest.
Yep.
And which I don't know. There was a time when I went through my mind, I probably would never be able to do it, but I just kept trying.
Yep.
So at some point I had to say, you can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I found like unlocking something like a muscle up. And that's why I asked you about the deadlift as well. It's like how much that was just a mental block. Like what the hardest one to do is the first one.
Right. That's right.
You may try for 6 months to do the first one. And then once you do the first one, you're like, that same day you do 2.
I did. That same day I strung 2 together.
Exactly. And so it's interesting how that works out. It's that it takes so much work on the front end just to get that first one in. But once you just unlock it, it's like
it's there.
Exponential growth. Like you literally go from I can't do any to I can do 2 in the first in that one day. And that happens to everyone. Like the first day you do 1, you go, oh, well, now I know how it kind of feels, and I just do the second one.
That's exactly right.
That's cool. Well, what's on the horizon? What goals do you have for the future?
My biggest goal is just to be able to keep on doing this as I get older. I mean, of course, I want to get better at double unders and everything. But my biggest goal is just to be able to keep on doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Why is that important to you?
because that's the best part of my day.
Yeah.
Like
What
I don't
about
go
it?
work out. If I don't go work out in the morning, I'm a whole lot more of a pissy person all day at work
Right.
when I go work out in the morning.
1,000%. Yeah. And what I hear from that, and I think it's important for people to know, is like one of the motivating factors for you is you've got like purposeful training. The way I describe it is this: activity is physical things that doesn't push you at all. So going for a walk is not, for most people, is not exercise.
Right.
It's just activity. You can walk, and I'm not gonna adapt at all from that. Exercise is physical activity that pushes your limits.
Mm-hmm.
But training is planned and purposeful and progressive. And so, like, why is training so important? Well, because you have goals in place. Like, when you've got a future goal, you've got motivation to kind of go and get it.
Right.
Whereas, like, a lot of people like exercise, especially as they age, they may exercise or be active, but like they don't have any future goals. Like the goal is kind of just, it's kind of it's not a very strong one. It doesn't have roots. And maybe something like, I want to feel better, or like I want to lose some weight. And it's like, that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing, but it's not as strong as like, ooh, I want to get my double unders better. Like that's a really clear goal, right?
Exactly.
And how much do you, I mean, in your experience talking to other people your age, how much of like the fact that you have a clear kind of picture of where you're at and where you want to go, how much do you think that factors into that?
What do you mean?
When you kind of engage with other folks your age who are struggling with their health and fitness,
Mm-hmm.
how much do you feel that, how much of a factor do you feel having those clear goals plays into your ability to stay motivated, and how much of not having clear goals you think?
100%. I mean, that's what keeps, that's it, is because I want to get better at double unders. I want to beat everybody on the workout for the day. I want to be at the top of the leaderboard.
There you go. What do you think some of the struggles that other people, like, what would you say to people who are struggling?
Just get up and come on and do it. The hardest thing is to start.
What's something they can do to help them take that first step?
I don't know. Just get up off your ass and go. Quit making excuses. Just go do it.
Yeah. Maybe it's that a lot of times people, they build it up too much. Well, if I do this, I'm going to do this, and do this, instead of saying like, don't worry about the steps 2 through 10. Just take step 1. We'll worry about step 2 when it comes up.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Awesome. Well, Chuck, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Any final words of wisdom or encouragement for people out there?
Just get off your ass and do something.
Love it.
Do something that sucks every day.
I love it. Do something that sucks every day. Great. Perfect. All right, Chuck, thanks for coming on the podcast, bud.
Thanks, David.
All right, brother. NBS Fitness Radio, out.
Thank you for listening to NBS Fitness Radio. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to share it with your friends, follow us on social media, and check out our website at www.nbsfitness.net. Hit the subscribe button and tune in next time for more NBS Fitness Radio.